Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live with another episode of The Sound. My name is Jared, and I'm joined tonight with, all the way from across the pond, our good buddy Matt. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude? Yeah, we are live. We are unsupervised. I don't know what they were thinking, leaving the two people that need supervision in charge of the show tonight, but
They did. So when the cat's away, the mice will play. So we're fucking taking over tonight. It's going to be our rules and our rules only. And there's nothing Kevin can do unless he gets to a computer and shuts the stream down. So other than that, I think he's at work. So the hell with him.
why not?
All right. Well, we got people starting to come in, man. We got a great show for you tonight. We have Craggs from Hidden Track Studios, another friend of ours that we're about to talk to from across the pond. Matt, give people like the lowdown that of what he's all about, real quick.
Well, a lot of people in the comments and watching will know Chris Dawson in the United States. You know, one of the best producers over there.
Right.
Craggs is the UK version of Chris Dawson. Like, he's producing some of these amazing bands like Raptors, City Is Ours, Dream State, as everything unfolds. Like, if you pay attention to my show, the UK Lowdown, you will hear a lot played of what Oz produces.
That's right. That's a great way to describe him, because Chris is somebody who's, the bands that he works with, we play a ton on the show, and we have for a while. And now, because of you, we're doing the same thing with Oz. So that's amazing. And that's cool. I can't wait to talk to him and see his story, like hear his story and how he got started. So comment section is lighting up. Lisa, what's up? Thank you for patrolling the poll for us tonight. We appreciate that. Love the hate. What's up, fellas? And what we're going through again, and Massamedia, what's going on? So Kevin, he says he can't be on the show, but here he is. Look at this. So he did get to a computer or a phone.
It's on my phone, and I can be here briefly. I was just making sure you guys got on the air.
We're on, and we're on control. There's nothing you can do. It's off the rails all night tonight.
Do it to it. I won't be here to witness it.
Hey, you can't start the poll from where you're at right now, can you?
No, I can't.
Damn it. All right, I'm going to try to do it during the first video. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off.
Well, I'm sure you won't, but
anyway,
we'll work it out.
We'll try to have some faith.
Well, thanks for jumping on, Kevin, and smiling and showing support while you're at work, paying the bills.
That's it. Y'all have fun.
Nice to see you, dude.
Will do, sir.
All right. Later.
All right, man.
Later.
All right, so look, we got to jump into it. We got a killer show lined up. Who do we have on the grudge match tonight? They're already in the comments. Love the hate going up against versus me. You know the rules. And I didn't mention, we're also going to be talking to Ocean's End as well. The band out of where were they from? Matt, do you remember? Is it Tampa?
I think so.
I think that's right. I hope that's right. You know the rules, man. We're going to play two videos. Video number 1, video number 2. You in the comment, you get to pick, you get to choose. Just drop it no matter where you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, doesn't matter. Whatever video you want to vote for, all you have to do is simply drop the number 1 or the number 2. Very easy instructions, right? In the comment section. So let's do it first before we do the grudge match, though. We got to start the show off officially, right? Thanks everybody who's already in the comments and already watching. And this is episode 109 of The Sound. All right, Matt, you ready? I got the first video queued up. We're rolling with Love to Hate right out of the gate.
Let's go for it.
Do it. Here we go. Start watching, folks, and let us know what you think in the comments below. This is Love to Hate. Oh man, what a kick-ass video from our friends over at Love to Hate. Throw the whole bitch away. What do you think about that, Matt?
It's a great track. It's all about, you know, toxic relationships, basically, male or female. It's great. Definitely a lot of people can relate to the lyrics. Great video too.
Yeah, I
Love it.
really do. Chaz did a great job on that. A lot of energy. I like the cuts that he did. Some of those transitions was killer, and I love how they're just jamming in their what I think is their practice spot with all their fans. Man, it looked killer, and it's got a good vibe. So let's roll into the next video. Like we said, this is going to be video number 2. It's from the band Versus Me. I think I got the right file pulled up. 50-50 chance. Let's see what happens.
Let's go for it.
Sound.
Holding my ground if things get loud. Here in my head, it's over now. Bite my tongue, I won't give in. I'm better off without this. Step back, relax and breathe in. Take it, take it, take it. Everything's fine, I pretend. Take it, take it, take it. You don't know where this road goes. We fight, 'cause I can't get this right. There's nothing left to hide, and I know deep inside I swallowed all my pride, 'cause I can't get this right. There's nothing left to hide, and I know deep inside I'm terrified. I'm wearing thin, so take this in. When it's over, no one wins. Save your breath and don't forget, I'm better off without this. Step back, relax and breathe in. Take it, take it, take it.
Well, then, what do you got to say about that?
Just they're both two banging videos, two banging tracks. I love
Yeah.
both bands. I'm glad I'm on the live tonight. That's all I'm going to say. Kevin
That's
makes
right.
it difficult every time he does a grudge match. And Kevin, you can't break your own rules and vote for both in the comments.
I think he was tagging. I think that's what he
Oh,
did.
was he
right?
tagging? Was he? I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
because I thought the same thing, and I was like, no, he's probably tagging him. So, but no, that is a great video, and I really love to see like creativity in videos because nowadays so many more bands have videos than back in the day. I like to see what they can do, and here you go, Matt. This is what I have to deal with all the time, right there. See that? But no, I like to see creativity and people doing different stuff and not everything.
Yeah, definitely.
The same. And they definitely, both bands tonight have done that. So kudos to them. But yeah, so be sure drop your vote in the comments below. Video number 1 or video number 2. You got till the end of the show, and we'll announce the winner at the end of the night. Lisa is working diligently to monitor the comments. Alex, no, that is Kevin. I fuck up. Kevin is an asshole. There's a difference, but we appreciate your support. So let's bring in Oz Craggs into the stream here, and let's jump right into it. Oz, what is up, sir?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What is up?
Doing good,
Yeah,
man.
very
Doing
good.
good. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I've had some time off for Christmas and for the holidays, so just been chilling, just been catching up on some emails and just generally living not a studio life for a couple of weeks, which has been great,
Yeah, well, look,
Must
I
be
want to
nice.
thank both you and Matt for staying up this late to be on the show tonight, because people don't realize y'all are behind us or ahead of
Yeah.
us, or how you want to look at it. So it's late for you guys right now, right?
That's
Yeah,
it.
it's
I mean,
1:45 in the morning.
yeah, that's it.
Oh man, that
luckily,
really...
yeah. I mean, luckily the music and studio life kind of helps make you nocturnal, I guess. So it's not too bad. Not too
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
It's great to be here and have a chance to chat to you guys anyway. So it's more than happy to stay up for this.
Well, good. Well, good. We appreciate the love, man. Matt, we was chatting earlier. I want you to take the lead on this. Let's start with like, when were we talking about that where we said to get Oz on the show? Was it after one of the streams when we were talking and you mentioned that?
It was when I was dropping tracks into the services chat, and I was like, "Oh, this is another one of Oz's bangers," and
Right.
you literally went, "Get him on the show." So I dropped him a message, and here we are.
All right. Well, killer. Yeah, I'm glad that worked out for us. So Oz, how'd you get your start, man? Recording bands.
So yeah, it's a long road, but I kind of always, I played music and played instruments from a really young age, and always had a kind of fascination with technology and how things worked. And I think the two just always kind of were trying to find ways of kind of putting those two things together. And when I was like in my early teens, I decided that the best way to do that would be to like make guitars. So I made an electric guitar and it sucked. So I realized that maybe that's not for me. But while I was doing that, I was, I don't know if you guys have a similar thing out in the States, but we have a thing here called work experience that you do at school when you're about 15, that you have like a week or 2 weeks where they take you into like an industry that you might have an interest in. And, you get to kind of be a kind of help out a little bit or do that kind of thing. And the place where I went had like a guitar workshop kind of repair center. So that's kind of why I went there, thinking that I was going to be good at making guitars, which I definitely wasn't. But they had a recording studio there, and it was one of those weird, lightning bolt moments of taking in the engineers' cups of tea as a 15-year-old and watching like actual sessions happening. And I was like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I've just essentially been completely focused since that age of and that's all I've done and all I've cared about really. And, that's been my primary focus since the age of 15. So from there, it kind of, snowballed from there. And I started working in that studio more, worked there full time for a while, and then kind of realized that I kind of wanted to do my own thing and focus on, the music I loved a little bit more. So then went the route that I think everyone else does now, which is kind of setting up a small home studio, bribing my parents to let me use their garage when I was, late teens, and built a little studio there. And that's kind of how it all kicked off, really.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. What I'm not sure the time frame here, but when you were apprenticing more or less at the other studio, did you get to watch technology kind of change there, where it got more compact, more accessible, and people like you're saying, like yourself, have the ability to do exactly what you're doing, whereas I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe 20-ish, that wouldn't have really been a possibility to the degree that you're doing it now.
No, that's right. I mean, and that is basically the time frame it was in. So I've really, that was, yeah, when was that? Yeah, it's about just over 20. Yeah, so I did my work experience when I was 15. That's like 22 years ago. So I started doing it full time when I was maybe 18, 19. So that's like 19 years. So I've really had a career in this as the technology has been evolving. So the first studio I worked in was digital tape. So it was still tape, but it was digital, but it was all analog. You know, there was no computer in the studio. It was all hands-on, you know, outboard gear and analog mixing desk and channels. You know, we used to you know, we used to smoke cigarettes and stuff in there, and so all the channels would stop working, and you know, tea would get spilt on it and stuff. So it was pretty, you know, old school rock and roll kind of place. And yeah, it's been mad. I mean, I think probably the last 5 or 10 years, I've seen the most change in terms of the output that people are doing from home now. And like, you know, I get sent demos. It's quite common that I'll get sent demos from bands now, and they're like, "Yeah, these are the songs we're doing." I'm like, "Damn, that sounds like a finished production." You know, like, what am I going to do? But I mean, I always try and find a way of shoehorning in my little ideas and trying to elevate those. But you know, people are doing great stuff now just from their laptops in their bedrooms, which just wasn't possible. You know.
Well, you know, like
No.
it seems like in bands, okay, like pretty much you got a drummer, bass player, guitar, and vocalist, I would say would be the norm. And then obviously there's other instruments that some bands do. But nowadays it's like one of those guys also has to be the producer. You know what I mean? It's like that's like a thing now. It's like, which one of you guys are the producer? And it's like, oh, it's me. I do all that, you know. And you're right. Some of the things that they put out as demos, it's like, damn. I mean, yeah, it's not completely finished, but damn, it's close, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's also like finding, I think, the role that I play now is also like figuring out actually what is needed. You know, sometimes it's just like, look, let's just recapture this, you know, tidy up a few loose ends, mix it and call it done. And then other times, you know, I'm kind of taking things apart and being like, look, this is really cool what you're doing, but I think there's some things that we could really improve on, and let's rethink about the drums, because, you know, again, a lot of the times that, like you were saying, that, you know, there's usually a member that kind of like takes the role of producer or lead writer. I've found that's more often than not the guitarist, who will then program the drums, for say, and then when a real drummer comes to play it, there might be issues or problems. So then it's kind of my job to kind of figure out what's possible there versus what they've written, and how we're going to join those two things up in the real world, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. And having an outside
100%. I was going to bring me on to my next point with Oz. It's, you know, he's saying he gets these demos that are, you know, almost finished. Like, do you get ones that are just terrible?
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people out there, like, because I always say, like, put the money into your production, because it will make the difference of radio picking you up or not.
100%, yeah.
Doing what I do for the station, which is the new ads and, you know, all the submissions of emails and stuff like that, and the amount of stuff that I just listen to, and I'm just like, their production needs sorting out.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah. Well, I think
invest in your production.
100%, and I think it's yeah. In a weird way, I actually prefer it when bands don't have a really slick demo, because that way they've got the core of the song there, so they know what they're playing, they know the parts, they know the type, you know, the structure of the song, the basics, but they're not kind of invested into how, in the producers world, we call it demoitis, when people do a demo and then they spend 6 months tweaking and being, you know, fanatical about it, and then bring it to me, and I'm like, I'm going to do something completely different, you know. And people can sometimes be so attached to what they've spent kind of their passion tweaking, that it, you know, you have to have some conversations. So sometimes actually a really rough live recording, you know, in a practice room is like a better for me, because it means that I've got more free reign to actually go, cool, we could try this, we could do this, you know. And people, it's like a whole new thing rather than almost producing it twice.
Yeah,
right.
for all you youngsters out there, if you own an iPhone or a smartphone really of any kind, but I've always noticed that the iPhone's microphone on it is something special. Sit that thing in the corner of the room while you're practicing, while you're writing, or you know, you're with the full band, and just hit record. And if your songs are tight enough, I mean, that is way good enough for a demo, right?
Yeah,
Like you said, like
100%.
that's 100% enough what you need for a demo.
That's it. And I think what's you know, again, it's like, you know, there's always you know, I try and never be too fixed on any particular thing, but like personally, I think as someone that always, like, you know, has come up with, you know, rock or heavy music being predominantly about a live, you know, a live thing, real performances. I think sometimes recently younger bands maybe focus so much on programming the drums, you know, making everything perfect. And then when it comes, you know, they come to me, I'm like, well, you're going to have to play it to some degree. You know, I'm not going to sit here and just make it all. You know, you have to give me something to work with. And then, you know, so I think actually doing it like you were saying and putting a mic in a room and playing, you're going to get a much more real representation of this is what you sound like. It's, you know, and I think that's a great place to start, really.
Yeah,
Definitely. So let's talk about some of these bands that you have been, you know, putting out there recently.
Sure.
As everything unfolds, Felt Like Home. That's
it's a great
amazing
song.
track.
Yeah.
You've got Raptors, Rock Bottom. How much of the album did you do, or did you just do Rock Bottom?
So I did the whole record of that Raptors. I've actually under the
Look at Matt's face. I can see it. He's like, oh, damn.
I thought he did.
I can see it.
Yeah. So that whole, I mean, everything that band's ever done under the name Raptors, I've produced, mixed and mastered. I've done everything from them, you know, laying down the first chord to it being on the record and being released. I've had the pleasure of doing with Raptors. With as everything unfolds, it's difficult because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say yet about what we've been working on. But for example, with Felt Like Home, it was a bit more complex, the roles in that, but because of their first album, I produced and mixed it. And with the newer songs that you've heard, we wanted to try something different and bring different people in. So what we did was that the band did a lot more writing, and, you know, they worked on, with this Everything Unfolds, they have a heavy element of like electronics, and they have a dedicated kind of synth player, electronic guy, and he's really good at producing that kind of music in his own right. So we all kind of had a discussion that we said, why don't we kind of delegate our roles and actually make all of us, you know, our skills come to the table as a whole, you know, rather than just putting all on one person or this. So what we did was John, who does the synths and electronics, focused on doing that. Adam, who was the kind of main songwriter, focused on that. So they were coming to me with like much more completed ideas. And then because we'd already made a record together, there was that faith in also of just giving me what they had and going, we're really happy with this, but we know that you're going to hear things that we haven't heard. So we kind of then worked together as the three of us on the songs as kind of like a co-producing thing in the studio. But I think with the vocals, with working with Charlie, the singer, that was very much left to me to kind of, because I think that's like something they know that I really like maybe have a lot more kind of experience with, to get the best out of people, because the psychological aspect, or, you know, the kind of working with people. So that was kind of more left to me, I guess. And then once we finished that, it was all sent to the States, and a guy called Taylor Larson mixed it. So yeah, that's what you're hearing. That record was a lot more of a kind of a collaborative thing than, say, the Raptors record, which, you know, we did. You know, we did everything back to back. The one funny thing about that Raptors album, though, I'll tell you a funny story about that. On the last day of the last session of making that record, we turned up like we had done for weeks before and just previous sessions, and they met me outside my studio. I turn everything on. We go around the corner to the coffee shop. We grab coffee. We come in and we get started. So I go in there. It was the same drill every day. We have like a routine down. I go in, just turn everything on, make sure everything's running. so they're waiting outside for me, and I never come back. So eventually they kind of come and stick their head in and go, Oz, what's going on? You know, like, and my computer had just completely died, completely died.
No way.
Yeah. So we, so I said, right, let's just go and get coffee, and like, I need some caffeine. We'll figure this out. So we realised that after caffeine that this isn't going to happen. So by 1 o'clock, you know, so this was about 10 a.m. By 1 p.m. we were in another studio with hard drives and carried on work, because we had to literally just grab things, grab hard drives. I had to, you know, ring a friend who had a studio, you know, a few miles away, and beg that we could kind of take it over for a day. And we finished the record off. We finished the record off in another studio, completely unplanned.
That is awesome.
It's nice to have those contacts in it. If something does go wrong, you can, you know, please can I come, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I never have to do it again.
No. But while we're on the subject of Raptors, why don't we let the watchers see and hear what was produced? We're gonna play Rock Bottom.
Awesome.
Here we go. This is Raptors, and you're watching the sound.
Rock bottom is a stepping stone, but my
Well,
what a fucking band.
so much to unpack there. I thought Matt was going to flip his table over backstage there while I was watching. I could see him. He was ready to kick it into full show mode, just at the show, banging his head.
Well, what's not to love about Raptors? You've got Matt on the drums, who's an absolute animal.
Yeah.
Simon's one of the best vocalists I've heard in a long, long time.
Where do you hear his
Harley's
influences?
just a riff machine.
Yeah.
They've just got a perfect fit, and they've got their own unique sound. You know, I've done a review. I think it was of Rock Bottom, actually. And I said, like, in years to come, people are going to say their influence is Raptors.
Yeah.
You know, and they're insane live. There's a reason why I drove 5 hours to Manchester to see them. But Jared asked me before the show, he was like, is Raptors your favorite band? They're up there, definitely.
Oh, that's
and he was
awesome.
like, or is it your favorite that Oz has produced? And I was like, come on. He's done Raptors and he's done The City Is Ours. That's why I'm repping tonight. Like, how do I pick?
You want to know the easiest way to tell someone who truly loves music, to me, in my opinion, is ask them what their favorite band is. And if they answer you with the first one, chances are they're not a music junkie. Now they maybe they might still be, but it's rare. But if they go and they take 25 minutes and they start, well, what genre, what time frame, what do you mean specifically? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Then I know, I'm like, okay, you have the sickness as well.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
I'm sick with music. You should know that by now.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, talking of City. So you produced Alive.
I did.
Which is an absolute insane track, and Ollie absolutely smashed that video.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. I remember early on, Mikey kind of slipping me a sneak peek of what they were working on, because I had no idea. I mean, we finished the song. It was a really quick turnaround on that song. That was obviously as a one-off. They just came in. We did it quick. It was the first time I'd worked with the new drummer, David. Obviously incredibly talented. But we just kind of wanted to get something under our belts, you know, to have some new music out, and obviously just to kind of get the ball rolling with us working together with with David and the new lineup, you know, because I'd not worked with David previously. So it felt like a good thing to do. So we did the song. It was like a really cool song, really different to what we had done before in lots of ways in terms of their influences and what our goal was with the end product. And it kind of, we were all happy with the production, and it went off, and that was me done. And then, a couple of weeks later, I got a WhatsApp from Mikey, you know, probably about this kind of time. And it was said, "Hey, Oz, check this out." And it was the first 30 seconds of the video of just like bits of the green screen, and I was blown away, absolutely blown away. I just knew it was going to be great. But Ollie's so talented and so easy to work with as well.
What better can you ask for than your hard vocalist being one of the best video production people in the UK? You know, well, if not in the world, to be honest. That man's a wizard.
Yeah, I mean, and what's funny is that, like, that's kind of how he got in the band, you know, because he was doing their videos and taking photos, and they just always had a real click going on and a good vibe between the band and Ollie. You know, when Sam was still in the band, you know, Ollie would do their videos, he would like take pictures of them live, and they all used to hang out like a band. It was like, they had that kind of like vibe going on. And when Sam made, like, obviously a very difficult decision to kind of step down and walk away from The City Is Ours, Ollie was just this guy that kind of was almost felt like a kind of honorary member anyway, because he'd been around for so much. He fitted in, everyone loved him. And I can't remember how, but like, I think they had heard him scream and they were like,
well, I know how it came about, how he, because I've been talking to Mikey and Ollie about it, and apparently when he was out on tour with Our Hollow Our Home, and obviously he's been out with all these bands with like hard vocals and stuff like that, during one sound check, Our Hollow Our Home threw him the mic, and Ollie just let out this insane, like, what the hell? Like, and being on tour with all these bands with all the hard vocals and singing along while he's taking his pictures actually trained his voice to do hard vocals.
That makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know how much people. I mean, I guess the boys must have said this in interviews. I don't actually know, but like with Coma, the record they had done previously, that was the first time I think Ollie had ever really properly recorded and had done anything with the City as Ours, certainly. And he literally walked in to the studio with me, and we were like, "We're making a record on a record label. There's no safety net here. It's
While we're
happening."
talking about Coma, everyone needs to go and check it out.
There it is.
Go
What
and
an
check
album.
out that album. It's a brilliant album.
So yeah, so Ollie literally stepped in front, literally walked into the studio in front of a mic, and we were like, off we go, and did his vocals in ridiculously quick timing. I was completely shocked that a guy with quote unquote very little experience.
Yeah.
I say quote unquote because he's been around for years and years around
He's
this
been around the
music.
scene a long time, but not actually in that role,
Exactly, yeah. So but yeah, to see how professional and how like smooth he didn't seem nervous, he seemed confident, he seemed really rehearsed, just relaxed, and it was an absolute breeze to record the vocals on that, and I was blown away with what he did. Absolutely blown away.
I love it. So also Dream State,
Yes.
you've done some of their production.
I have, yeah.
I've actually secured tickets to the first two shows in February with our social media director, Lisa Wills, is coming back to the UK for some shows.
Amazing.
So that should be awesome. Because that's for their EP release. Have you worked on the whole EP?
Yes. Is the short
answer. Yes,
but
I can't tell you what.
Again, because like I don't know what people, I have to be careful with, because people like to release information, but I can tell you that I produced, mixed and mastered every song on that EP. So I've done everything with that, which was a real joy. And it's funny, because I very much with kind of my career and stuff like that, I've not been the most kind of pushy salesman guy. I tend to kind of just let my work do the talking, and hopefully hopefully that does it, and just choose to spend my time working really fucking hard rather than messaging people too much or schmoozing too much, I guess. So whether I should, whether that's right or not, who knows, but that's kind of how I've been. But there's a couple of times over the years, and I can think of maybe 2 or 3 times where I've heard a band and gone, I should be working with that band. I can just hear it in my head that I should be working with that band. And about, I don't know how long ago it was, a lot of years ago, I messaged their manager and said, I need to work with Dream State, when I heard them with their old lineup, because I was like, this is just going to work, And then through this kind of bizarre sequence of events with the lineup change, and then I had, I'd worked with Jess, their new vocalist, Jessie. I'd worked with her with different projects, and we played live together. We toured together, and I just knew how great she was. And she just messaged me and said, "I think I'm working with Dream State," and I was like, "Amazing!" So she kind of said to me, "Would you be interested in kind of having a conversation with the band about maybe getting involved in this?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And then it happened. We did "Taunt Me" was the first song we did together. We'd never worked together before. I'd never met them. And we walked in and we did "Taunt Me," their first single.
Wow.
And and it just clicked. But really very proud to work with that band, because, as I said, a long time ago when they first started releasing music, I heard something in it that I could really see that I could bring something to the table,
Love it.
Yeah.
So we're working, because you worked with Neck Deep as well, didn't you? And they are soaring over here right now.
Yeah. I mixed a song for them a few years ago. They did a cover of a Green Day song, and they asked me to mix it, and that was amazing. So yeah, that was a really cool project to work on, and it's been great. Like over the years, just as I said, I tend to kind of sit in my studio and just keep my head down and be as busy as I can, as long as I'm working on songs that I like and songs that I see has some kind of value to me or to a listener. If the band are a multi million selling platinum gold band, or a band that are just working on their first release, if the music's good and they're professional and passionate about it, then to me there's no difference really. you know.
That's just answered the question I was going to ask you. I was like, well, how does it make you feel seeing, you know, like you say, Raptors? You started with Raptors from everything they've done as Raptors.
Yeah,
you know, and they're just they're escalating. You know, how does that make you feel when you work with these bands from, you know?
it's literally the best feeling. I like it. It honestly is probably the biggest payoff, actually, because the thing is, like, you know, as a producer, like, what I've realized that I can, you know, hopefully what I think I can bring to the table is, you know, I always say to bands, and it sounds like a bit of a spiel, but it's honestly what I believe is that there are going to be people out there that will get, you know, the best guitar tone or the best snare drum sound. Like, I'm not really that guy. I like the sound of things, but like, I'm not the guy that my primary focus is to get you the most perfect gent guitar tone. What I want to do is take your song and put a big bow around it so that when someone listens to it for the first time, it makes them feel something. So
Right.
if it's like that song, like Rock Bottom, I want you to, you know, I want people to bang in their heads and it to feel exciting and about, you know, like a song like that. I want it to feel like to the listener that the wheels are about to fall off of it at any point.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's I said at the start of the show, for all the American listeners, they know who Chris Dawson is. I don't know if you know who Chris Dawson is.
Yeah. I know his name. Yeah.
He's one of the best producers over there in America, and I said you're like the equivalent over here, which you are because you're insane.
That's very kind. Thank you.
What I would love to see, and I would love to make it happen, is an Craggs Chris Dawson collab.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. And I know we're running short on time, but I've got one more question for you. Now, we're talking about, you know, bands sending you stuff, and, you know, some of it's great, some of it's not so great.
Yep.
A lot of ours is, you know, we work with a lot of up and coming bands that a lot of them do self-produce and stuff like that. What's the biggest advice you can give an up and coming band?
Oh, that's a great question. If they're self-producing, do you mean like what if they're going to self-produce their stuff? What would be the one piece of advice I'd give them for self-producing it, or just in general?
Just in general, what would you know? Where do you see bands going wrong? You know, how would you?
I think people, in terms of, I mean, there's a few things I could talk for hours on this, so I don't want to take up too much of your show with me rambling on. I would say, in terms of production, say they're self-producing, I think like a huge thing that, but I mean, I guess it's just something that's like I learned with doing this for nearly 20 years is that, as I said earlier, for me personally, what seems to move the needle most when I start working with a band and, you know, a band are doing X and then I work with them and then I see the progression. I think the biggest thing that moves the needle isn't focusing on the guitar tone or like listening to Periphery and going, okay, we're going to match their guitar tone. That's the cool thing that everyone's doing. It's actually thinking about the song and about what you want the listener to feel when they hear that song. So if it's a ballad or if it's something that's supposed to feel sad, how do you make the listener feel that? If it's a heavy song, how do you make them feel that? And it's just so overlooked, but it's a hard skill to learn. But that would be my advice for production. And yeah, and I think in general as bands, you know, just general advice for bands. I think I say to a lot of clients that I work with, the secret to success is very simple. It's literally 3 things you've got to do as a band, which is write and release music, record and release music, do social media, and play live. It's as simple as that. It's 3 things. That's all you have to do. You just have to do it consistently.
You have just nailed it on the head. I know that Lisa's watching and she's going to love the fact that you said social media, because one thing we're always on about is, you know, be consistent. Like, she tries to tag bands when, you know, we do like the Dirty 30 and stuff like that. Some of them don't have Twitter. Some of them don't have Instagram. It's like, be on all those platforms and be consistent, because
you can't
social media these days
you can't do it without it.
Is just as important as your music.
Correct. It is. And simultaneously, I think playing live is as important as your music. And I think the 3 things.
Oh, definitely, 100%. Well, that's what, you know.
They have to have all those 3 things.
That's actually how I discovered Raptors. Was
really?
Seeing them live at Turbulence Festival.
Amazing.
And I was just like, what? Who are these?
Yep. and then what you probably did after that was then go and checked out their social media. You know, and that's how it works.
I was stood there with our social media director, Lisa Wills, We were stood there because she'd come over for it, and we just looked at each other and we were like, "What?" And instantly, Spotify, Facebook, you know, Twitter, like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And been a
Well,
huge
that's
fan
it.
ever since. You know,
And I say to every band that no matter what level or where they are, if you can get those three things and consistently, progressively do that, so you're always got a bit of attention on those three areas, no matter what level you're at, you will see a growth in your
Yep.
band, guaranteed.
Jared, you know this sign?
Yeah. Oh, I got it. Already
Let-
wrote it down.
let-
Already wrote it down.
Good man.
Yeah. Dude, we touched on a lot tonight, and you nailed it to wrap things up. You nailed it with it's the song. Josie Scott from Saliva, we got a clip from him saying the same exact thing, and you even added another layer. Whatever that song is supposed to make you feel, whether it's happy, mad, sad, angry, or all of those in the same song, then that's what it's supposed to do. I do love the guitar tone right out of the gate on that Raptor song that we played.
Thank you.
Before the drums kick in, that it was a little skanky, and that's a good thing. And I like that. It sounded really, really good. So I know you can dial it in. I know you can.
Yeah.
But another thing, go ahead.
I was just going to say that guitar sound. When we were playing it, then I remembered how we did that, which was that is the vocal mic was left in the corner of the room still from the night before when we were tracking vocals, and that's what you were listening to on the intro.
Well,
so I thought it sounded cool.
It did.
Oh, wow.
It sounded really cool, and that's the first thing that caught my ear most for me out of the whole song. But that really was stood out. You
Amazing.
touched on a lot of things tonight, and I'm glad you did. We got Ocean's End patiently waiting, guys. We thank y'all patiently waiting backstage. Before we wrap things up, I just want to say you touched on a lot of things about today with technology, the way it's evolved, the way things have become more accessible to people like you guys that are doing recordings in your house. But you mentioned one thing earlier that we haven't touched on that I loved is the psychology of everything. And that is huge for a producer to understand and to know, because recording music is a very emotional or artistic, whatever adjective you want to use. It's not just like you're going into an office for some reason, right? It's there's a vibe in the room, and the fact that you understand that, I think is great. You mentioned doing it with vocalists, with the gentleman from Raptors. What's your approach to that? If you could tell us just real quick, how do you approach the psychology part of it?
Okay, I'll be as quick as I can. As I said, I tend to ramble, but with vocals, I personally come at it from the stance of a cheerleader. So I'm not there to tell them that they've done anything wrong ever. I'm just there to tell them when they do something good, So my stance is more, it's great, let's do it again. This part. So if they do a line or a section and 3/4 of it is trash and they're not warmed up and it's not good, I won't say it's not there. I'll say that one line, unbelievable. Give me some more. And that's how I come at it. I try and come at it with a lot of energy as well. And I don't tend to kind of work with vocalists. I tend to work at quite a fast pace. So it's quite a high energy. It tends to be kind of quite like, I guess, unless I'm feeling that I'm being too high energy, and then I try and pull it back for them. But it tends to be just, as I said, a bit of a kind of like, that's amazing, cool, keep going. And then eventually it's like, oh, we're done, and that's it. And the song's done, but I find that I tailor that process or that psychology very differently for every instrument. But with vocals, I think it's the most important. And I also don't let anybody, while the vocalist is in the other room tracking, I don't let anybody speak to them, through the mic, through the cans, to walk into the room. Everything that they want to say has to come through me. Yeah. So I say to the band, you're just going to have to talk to me. If you want to tell him that he's sung the lyric well, that's totally fine. But you tell me, and I will, at the appropriate time, figure that out. Because it's about getting the flow and a flow state going with the singer, rather than just go, no, that was wrong, and just breaking people's confidence or their flow.
It's like a dance. You get it. So that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, look, where do we need to send people? Your Hidden Track Studios is that?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, on my social media, on Facebook, it's Hidden Track Studios. I post pretty much all of the stuff that I've worked on continuously on that page. It's just a long list of new releases. So if people want to hear my work, that's a great place. I have a website. It's about 8 years old, but you can have a look if you're interested in getting in touch with me. That's www.hiddentrackstudios.co.uk. And if you're on Instagram, there's a studios page, but probably the best is my personal one on Instagram, which is just Craggs. and that's got a lot of all my recent work on there, my contact details, and everyone can just kind of jump on and get hold of me any way they want.
Well, every
Awesome.
time you got a new band, a new project, a new anything that you put out, shoot it over to us. I know Matt's eager to hear it, and we're huge fans of what you're doing, and we will get it on our station like that. So
that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for all your support, and it's really humbling and incredible to speak to people over the other side of the world, you know, and I'm really thankful, and thank you for letting me come on and chat to you guys. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thanks for staying up late, dude. It's we'll let you go to bed now. And we'll sort out Oz Craggs UK Lowdown special.
There you go. There you
Excellent.
go.
So, well, thank you so much, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your show.
Same to you.
All right, thanks, dude.
See you
soon.
All
right, man. Matt, that was that what we call in the sound. That's about as good as it gets, right there. What a great interview that was.
A ton gave us insights to all sorts, you know.
Yeah, a ton of nuggets. A ton of nuggets in that. So
hey, look, if the Sound 228 can hook Oz Craggs and Chris Dawson up to do a collab on a song, let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. I'm in. All right, we got the gentleman from Ocean's Inn patiently waiting backstage. Let's bring them in. But I want to remind everybody the voting is still continues until the show ends. So if you haven't made your vote yet, haven't cast your vote yet, you can still drop a number 1 or number 2 in there. But we're gonna bring the guys in from Ocean's Inn. So here we go. Gentlemen,
hola.
What is up, guys?
Hello.
How are y'all doing, man?
Really good. We're doing
great to be here. Thank you for waiting patiently for us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm enjoying the show.
Good to hear.
Awesome.
Good to hear. Did y'all pick up anything from that from across the pond that was helpful?
That dude is literally in my head when it comes to songwriting. I was like, oh my gosh, I was gonna say that stuff. I took notes.
Yeah. Yes. Good. That's what I always hope, man. I'm like, I know a lot of musicians and artists watch the show, and I hope that they're getting either affirmation, yeah, that's what I thought, or hey, I never thought about that. Good, and let's implement that into our band.
That's why we this podcast is different. A lot of podcasts will just have bands on and stuff, but we like to bring on other people in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
We had Chris Dawson back along. We just has Oz Craggs on. I'm trying to work out bringing Emma from Plugin Baby on, who is a radio promoter. So, it gives those up and coming bands just a little bit of insight of what other people in the industry
way to connect too, with having bands on the show and then other industry professionals.
Exactly.
It's a good way to connect people.
Correct. So look, tell us about you guys. We were talking earlier, right out of the gate at the beginning of the show. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all are from Tampa, is that right?
That's correct. We're from Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
You got it right.
Damn. As a Saints fan, that hurts a little bit, but we're gonna move past that.
It's okay. I mean, I'll be totally real with you. I'm not a football fan, but Lightning is winning right now, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. There you go.
We're spanking the Canadians right now, so let's go Lightning.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
What gentlemen, tell the audience, people that are watching, listening, and on the replay and stuff, tell us about Ocean's Inn, how you got started. That's always the best place to start. Is how did you guys get together? How'd you get started?
Wow. You can take this one, Will.
Okay. All right. So I played in a band for a long time, but I was getting really bummed about not writing my own music, and I was trying to find an outlet to do that again. And out of the blue, one day this band hits me up and they're like, "Hey man, do you know any singers?" And I'm like, "All right, are you playing a game with me or what?" Oh, well, okay. Do you want to sing? Okay, there it is. All right. So I found this band, and it was like, "Hey, write some songs." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I didn't really kind of know exactly what I wanted to do at first, except that I wanted to kind of speak and sing about some topics that had really been bothering me for a little bit, about Oz mentioned personality, and it just some things that had gone on in my life that I was like, I feel like there's probably other people that have been through this and that can relate to it. And James actually helped me figure out the best way to really kind of craft this, but we started kind of tailoring the songs around this idea of the voice of the voiceless. This concept of, there's a bunch of people in the world who feel like they can't speak up, they don't know how, they don't have a person to, or they're afraid of something happening to them if they do. And so I was like, well, hey, you know what? Like, if I say it, then at least someone knows that they're not alone in that matter. But B, like, for all the times that you felt like you couldn't do that, like, I'll say it for you. So, they can come after me and I'll be the verbal punching bag. But at least, people out there who are going through this kind of stuff know, hey, there's someone else that gets it. So that's kind of like where I've been aiming my rifle of lyrics at, is that
And I love it.
that idea of, hey, you know what? There's some really harsh, almost like borderline taboo kind of stuff out there, and people don't know how to have a conversation about it in a positive and kind of healthy way. And sometimes that healthy way is anger, whatever. But that's what I'm about, and that's what I try to write my lyrics about is, like I said, being that voice for the people that can't.
I like it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's, for me, music is one of the best releases of emotions, mental health. Whether you're playing it, writing it, listening to it. I've got certain bands. If I'm having a bad day,
Yeah.
there's certain bands I go to, I'm like, I need to listen to some of that just to let that feels out. And when you're writing, what you feel and stuff like that, that's amazing.
And the thing is I was gonna say, for a long time, I wore a uniform for work. And so when you do that, your ability to have a public persona goes away. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot break that chain of command. You cannot talk bad about experiences or even about good experiences, right? There's confidentiality, there's all sorts of stuff. So, for a while it was like I felt like I had, that gag over me, physically, but also, in that mentally, in that emotional kind of way. And I obviously I could not stand how that felt. And then I was like, well, I'm sure I am not the only person who's ever felt like they had that piece of duct tape over their mouth when all they want to do is scream,
Yeah, definitely.
How would you describe your music? Like, what's the vibe? I hate to say genre, because that's like such a,
so
whatever, but it does help people kind of, understand what you're talking about here. But
I'm gonna turf that one to James.
It is heavy rock. Really is. We take from a lot of the genres of modern heavy rock. It can fall into hardcore. It could fall into punk. It could fall into metal. It could fall into what they call new metal, which I don't really like that name, but we seem to fit that sometimes. It's kind of, we call it whatever core. So we take from whatever we feel, we put it together into Ocean's End.
You're basically writing what you want.
Yeah.
And you're not restricting yourself to one subgenre.
That's the thing. I can't stand labels, because me as a listener, I listen to so much stuff, and I know people say that, but like, I will go in like a single day from like bluegrass and like, indie pop to like Alpha Wolf to to like blues, then over to like Sublime. So, I'm all over the place, and I'm like, well, that just comes out naturally in my playing, and so does it for James and for Tyler, our drummer. So, after a while, I was just like, enough. When people are like, oh, what do I categorize you as? I'm like, you just call it heavy, fam.
Yeah.
Like, literally just call it heavy, because we played shows with crust punk, we played shows with deathcore, and I've played shows with shoegaze. So like, it doesn't, like, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm just like, it's heavy, and if you like any sort of alt music, there's something in there that you'll like, guaranteed.
I like, I don't know if you heard us talk earlier though, like to me, the easiest way to tell somebody who truly loves music is ask them who their favorite band is, and if they can't, if they answer it super quick, like I said, there might be somebody who's just a diehard Kiss fan or Zeppelin fan or
Right.
Rush fan or something.
Yeah.
But 99% of true music fans are going to be like,
Yeah.
so and so, but they might be my top 5 or they might be top 5 in this category.
Yeah.
Same with you. Like, what's your favorite music to listen to? Well, if you ask me that, I'm like, how much time you got? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
or what day is
mood
it?
what mood
day
am I
is
in?
it? What
Yeah,
hour
you know?
is it? You know, I have an entire metal song from Memphis Mayfire tattooed on my back. It's not even one of my top 5 bands. It's just at the time I was like, oh my God, this is a song. And it still resonates with me. But if someone was like, hey, what's your favorite band? I wouldn't say Memphis Mayfire. I'd probably say like, God, like,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like,
I was
like,
gonna give you an answer. I was so close with it, and I was like,
can't do it. Yeah, I mean, even for me, like going from the heavy rock, hard rock to metal, then all the way over to like Motown music. You know what I mean? Or like
my mom raised me on Motown.
See, me too. And that's what I think of as my grandma and my family and like times from the past. And it's like, that's a different emotion that I want to feel versus if you're at the gym or like Matt, like you said, you're mad about something or you're happy about something. Like they all have these colors or flavors that music can be. So,
right. I mean, we literally have a song that we're working on currently. And the topic of it is the fact that I was hungry.
There you go. How much music?
It sounds like nothing like if you just listen to a song, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's just a fast, angry punk song. But if like you break down the lyrics, it's like this motherfucker just wants a pizza.
So how much music do you guys have out right now? And you said punk. Is punk the heaviest vibe, or do you kind of jump in and out of that?
Yeah, we have all punk is what I turn to when I need to lighten it up. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Let's see. So right now we have one that's streaming. We had some other ones, but they were kind of starting to get a little bit more fringe compared to our core sound. So we took those down. We have Try Not to Die, which is our current single up right now. Easy core. It's a lot of fun. And it's a really solid message. It's about my first time having a panic attack and how to manage getting through a panic attack, honestly.
Wow.
Okay.
So it's funny because like out in the song, like I talk about like count to 10, you know what I mean? Like it's that kind of feeling. But we do have an album coming out in February. That's gonna be 5. Well, I say album, it's an EP. But in this day and age with singles and all that, it counts as albums. So,
Correct.
But we do have 5 songs on that, which will be a lot of fun. It's called So Tell Me About Yourself. For obvious reasons, it's very much like an exposition about what it's like inside my weird head. And then after that, we have a couple more singles that we are actively in the middle of planning out and recording, which will kind of drop throughout the rest of the year. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to cut a live album, which will be a lot of fun. And then we'll go back and do another full-on EP in the beginning of next year.
Well, I want to show, if I can, without screwing this up with the button clicks here. The first thing that I saw from you guys scroll through my news feed, it's the and I'm sure you know what it is here. It's just you shared it on December the 16th. IDGAF. Can we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
go for it.
That's the first thing I saw from you guys. And like I'm going
and that's what we want. I want you to see like that weird, goofy stuff that we did.
That's all it was. And I like I'm scrolling, and then it like pops with the volume hit. You know, and I kind of go and I hear it and I went, whoa, and I pulled it back down. And I went, okay. Like, so I'm gonna see if I can screen share that real quick with everybody.
Go for it. That was a lot of fun to make. That is a song we're working on. That's gonna be we're gonna put that with the live album. So that if you like that one, the studio version of that will come out at the end of at the end of 2023.
Is that gonna be the name?
Yeah, it's gonna be called IDGAF live at Ollie's, which is one of our favorite places to play at down in Cape Coral. So we're going to record it there.
All right,
with a bunch of people in the room. So.
I love it.
Let's see if it shares.
I already love the song.
All right, y'all ready? I don't know. Let's see here. We'll
fingers crossed.
Yeah, here we go.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's my song. One of my biggest personality traits is I do not give a fuck.
Oh yeah, and I mean that is, yeah, it's that one. It's kind of a little dive into the whole like for a long time. Okay, so let's preface this. Since we're getting into those deep personality conversations, I'm biracial, and it sucked in the early 2000s being anybody that looked like me and wanted to play in a metal band, because aside from like Oceano or Killswitch Engage, the idea of like a black
Seven
dude
Dust.
fronting or Seven Dust, the idea, or Skindred. So I guess like four big ones, right? But aside from those four big dudes, like if you were brown and wanted to sing in a metalcore band, they just told you to get fucked. Like I literally remember like Victory laughing at my band because of how I looked, and I was like, what? But nowadays it's like, you know, it's much more inclusive, and of course I'm happy about that. But I just remember like being told like, look like this, dress like that, sing like this, and I'm like, dude, there's no way that I'm changing any of me, like just to be you. So that's what that's kind of about, like just kind of my reminiscing of that whole time period.
That's what I've always loved about music, though, at least in my mind, is that I felt like and you have a different experience, which is totally, you know, your experience. But like I looked at Seven Dust and Killswitch Engage, you know, and I thought it doesn't fucking matter. Like these guys are just good at music.
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
You got 3 heads popping off your shoulders, and if you sound like that, then great. But I've read stories where like even like Seven Dust, you know, they had hecklers in the crowd who were saying racist shit. You know, that obviously, you know, that like, get the fuck out of here, then, dude. Like you're not. You just suck as a human. This is not what it's about.
But it was a whole process I had to go through, because I honestly, like, it broke me down. But then I had to like go and relearn that confidence again of like, yeah, believe in the music you want to make, the art you want to put out, and who you are as a person. So like, honestly, it was like going through the whole like Sharps punk kind of scene of like, you know, like punch a Nazi in the face kind of thing. Like it took me like kind of like hanging out in that crowd and to like almost like feel confident about myself again. And then once I did, like I took off running like a freight train, because I was like, I'm me, and there's no shutting me up now. So
I just thought of Bad Brains and Living Color as well.
Yes, Living Color. I binged it from like age 12 to like 15.
Yeah, and they were the shit too. So
yes,
yeah, and everybody has their own experience, man. So that's great, and kudos to you for not for you know, going and finding your strength and your confidence, and then flipping the finger and then making music, man. Because
I was going to say one thing I've got to say to society about that is,
exactly.
You know, fuck you.
And that's where I'm at with it. You know, it's like I sound how I want to sound because it's what I like. You know, I write the music that I want to listen to, because if I'm going to play this thing 10,000 times, I better like it, right? But like, you know, it's just whatever sounds like me and sounds like my buddies, you know, like I never am trying to like fit myself into a certain thing. It's like, it's silly. You know, there's so much fakeness and there's so much like cookie cutter shit out there that it's so much easier to just be yourself. Like, why waste all that energy trying to be someone else?
What I liked about that clip was, and what really caught my ear, is because it's just straight garage, like, and you're literally in a garage. And I know you said y'all are going to record it, right? You're going to have it.
Oh yeah. That's just juvenile outfit practice,
right? But what I liked about it was, I was like, this is raw. This is them. This is their writing. You know, in my mind, it's like y'all are actively writing the song, and you put it out there, and that's great. We were talking about that earlier with Oz, though. It's like nowadays with where technology is at, like the not so great side of it is that everything does sound completely produced, or I should say completely on time. You know, it's like then it starts to sound not real,
right?
You know, there's no breath inside of the music.
On the EP that we're putting out, that was a big thing that James and I, when we were working on it, we made it a point to tell the producer, we're like, you know, I want this to feel just very like real, like organic, you know what I mean? Like I want it to feel like we just went to a small club and there's us playing and you're in the room with us. Like I don't necessarily need like 10,000 guitar parts or tracks, or even like the layered vocals, right? Like it's just a power trio of us.
Yep.
And I think
And
we're taking on the road too, that sort of credo of like the garage mentality. Like we want to
right.
take that with us and have that raw sort of connection.
Yeah, because it's so easy. Like I get it. I get that. Like for example, I got no problem with tracks. I think tracks are fantastic because I'm a studio musician and I love the click. I live for the click. But at the same time though, like I knew that like it didn't have that same visceralness if I did all that stuff. And so it sounds empty at times, but it's almost like, yeah, but if we saw it live, it should feel that way. It should feel like three dudes playing cohesively. So we made a conscious effort to really almost like avoid the production. And then the next two that we put out, we're kind of doing the same kind of thing, but we're even like taking it a step further because we want it to feel very like late 80s, like almost on tape kind of feel. But then when we do the next like actual EP, we're gonna kind of flip flop and go the other direction because I would like to try some of that stuff out. It's not to say that those are bad things.
No,
it's just I wanted to do a couple more unique kind of tricks up my sleeve first before then we go and do big on production. Because trust me, I love big productions. I want a song that has a big string orchestra in it. Like, come on, fam, like make it epic.
Well, like Matt said earlier in the show with Matt, I believe you said it was Raptors. You saw them live first, right? Before you knew anything about them, and their live show blew you away. It's like you can get into this realm of overproduction, especially at the early stages. Like if you're like packing out arenas, you have a whole team. You have audio guys and it'll be okay. But when it's just you in a van and you're going to clubs and you got to worry about and I've seen guys post about it, like your laptop fails and that's what shuts the show down. Like I forget the band that made that post. They were talking about it. And I'm not shitting on that. I'm just saying like, I still, at the end of the day, I respect it. Like guitar, bass, drums, vocals, and maybe you got a keyboard or whatever the hell else, but everybody's playing an instrument and you can fucking play your shit and you don't have to worry about all this other shit. That to me, there's a place for that as well, is what I'm saying.
I'm pretty basic when it comes to guitar. I won't lie. A lot of the time, if I need a clean sound, I just roll off my volume. I'm kind of old school in that way because I grew up on blues where they just had like guitar into amp and that's it. And so like I've always thought about my signal chain in the same kind of way. Like I've got like cool pedals and stuff, but ultimately it comes down to like the thing that would make me the most happy is a single channel amp and my guitar plugged into it. Like I don't really fuck with effects. I just I literally just
are you an orange guy? That's Orange's style.
So I'm not. Currently what I'm doing is I have like a Rat style drive that goes into a Klon Centaur style drive, and that's all I do. Just fuzz into overdrive into clean amp. Done.
Yeah, there you go. There's nothing wrong with that. And like I say, there's guys pulling it off with click tracks and backing tracks and stuff that are doing great and make great music. But I do love to see. I love to see the performance of what you're hearing.
It's fun when you go to a show and you see a band back to back where one's doing a click and one's not, and you see the contrast of it. And one has the big production and the other one's just kind of going off the cuff.
Right. And they can equally be as good, right?
You know absolutely. I mean? We play with both all the time. We play with bands that just do it straight up. Like they're tapping their foot. And then we play with bands that have like the whole big, and both are awesome, just in their own way, Yep,
for sure, for sure. What guys? What is 23 looking like for y'all? Being as it's December the 28th, 22, as we record this. What's the plans for the new year? I know you mentioned an EP. Right. What all do you have in store for 23?
EP and tour.
Yeah, EP and tour. Honestly, we're gonna be super busy. So we're starting off. We're doing a couple days with Emo Nights Karaoke. That's a big event group. So we're gonna play some shows doing that, so people can come up and sing songs after we play a big fun set for them. And then from there, starting in March, we're gonna go out west. So we're going up through the Gulf. We'll come say hi to y'all, and then we'll go to Texas, and then we're going out west to Arizona, New Mexico, Vegas, California. All up and down there. Then in June, we should be going to the Midwest, some shape or form, starting in like Tennessee and then kind of working our way up through the middle. And then at the end of July, we'll be going up the East Coast into Canada with some friends. So that'll be fun. And then fingers crossed, this one's kind of wild because we still are very much a DIY band, but I don't give a fuck. We're trying to go to Europe. So we're trying to go to the UK and the EU for a little bit.
Help.
We started making some friends. Just kind of like, hey, look, if we wanted to do this, like, what all do we need to do? Like, who should we reach out to? What kind of stuff do we need to make this happen?
Look at this.
So
this dude right here knows he can point you in the right. Brady Bunch shit right there. He can point you
I can hook you up with some promoters and stuff over here.
Yeah.
We're
in Texas.
Our good buddy
all
Jimmy
of it.
right there.
All of it, Jimmy. I fully intend to stay many days in Texas because everything's bigger in Texas, including the gas bill. So I might as well make some money, right?
Right.
Let us know where you are in Texas.
So I know for sure I'm gonna try for Houston, Austin, Dallas, and San Antonio. If you got any other ideas, hook it up.
Yeah, Jimmy, where are you at in Texas? I don't remember. He's Austin.
Diane, we're going the entire East Coast. Austin, it's a done deal. I have friends in Austin that we will play with for sure. Austin is guaranteed.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Jimmy.
Go hit the like on the page, Jimmy, if you already haven't done it.
But yeah, East Coast, I know we're starting, I want to say probably Charleston area. We'll go up through the mid-Atlantic and then hopefully play a very large festival. If you're up in that region, you know what I'm talking about. And then we'll take a couple of days off and then go to Canada. And Canada, I believe, is like just the eastern half. So I think we stop at like Ontario, and then we turn back around. So, well,
let me ask you this. Then that brings up a question for me. As a band, and most of the bands that we talk to on the show, we label like up and coming, right? Y'all are fighting. Y'all are trying to break through, trying to do the damn thing, right?
Yes, so definitely.
That sounds like a very ambitious touring plan. With you don't have to get into the numbers of things, but like, how do you plan, book, and strategize is the word I'll use, that type of tour? That's very ambitious.
It's a hustle. Hit Virginia. Virginia will happen for sure. Definitely aiming for the RVA area. So Maryland, DC is on its way. So
you got the request coming in.
Pennsylvania. Oh God, it's probably
hit all. Hey, bro, hit the 48 first. Yeah.
Anne should know better. She should book it. Anne should know. Probably Allentown. Possibly Pittsburgh if we have to route. Let's see. So booking a tour like that. Well, we do have some help now. We are working with Massive Media. They've been really awesome and kind of help guiding us into like trying to do bigger stuff. But for the longest time, honestly, what would happen is because our band is kind of not fitting in a box, a lot of people would not book me and they would not book us. So I was like, fine, I'll just book myself. So I got really good at just sending these cover letters to different emails for venues. And then if they didn't answer, I'd call them. They'd be like, hey, look, I have this band. We play this. We got a little something for everybody, but it is heavy. It is aggressive. If you're into that kind of stuff, like I'll do my hardest to bring people in your door, book me. And they would. It's usually as simple as just asking.
Yeah.
So
I just want people that either, again, up and coming artists, up and coming people who want to be in a band, or people that are listening and watching that are not in the music scene. You got to understand like how difficult that is. Like you're talking about reaching out to, first you got to find the bars, first you got to find the towns, first you got to map it out, the routing as he's talking about. Then you got to reach out to these people, get a response, and ask for some type of, whether it's upfront guarantee or a half a deposit or going out on a prayer that they're going to pay you when you get there. Right. And fund all this shit. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy. You know,
so
we are fortunate.
Buy a t-shirt from these guys.
We are fortunate that, like, you know,
speaking of that, we just got a huge bunch of new merch, and it's going up.
Oh my gosh, yes. The merch will be available if you're interested in us and want to help support. The merch will be live midnight of New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve to the New Year's, the new merch. That's the easiest.
New Year's Eve night on New Year's. So
yeah, we dropped the ball and we dropped the merch. There we go.
There you go. That's an easy way to say it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is hard. you know, there's been a lot of no's. I don't want it to ever sound like, oh, it's easy. He just, you know, no, there's a whole bunch of hell no, and who the hell are you, and go away.
Or ghosting, right? That's
yeah, we're ghosting.
Yeah.
But honestly, for as like, let's say probably on average, for every 10 that I hit up, 2 will answer me, and then maybe 1 will say yes. So, you know, it's a lot of persistence.
There you go.
But also you kind of have to like, you have to get your life in order, right? Like I'm fortunate that I work teaching music, so they know that like this is just part of the deal with having me employed, that I'm gonna go play music. You know, Tyler, our drummer, he's self-employed as a mechanic, so you know, he kind of hustles extra so that then when we go out, he's got money saved up. And same thing with James. So it's like, you know, if you want to do it, if you want to be an independent band, like you also just have to get life in order, because it's hard. You know, your family may not be down with that. You know, my family is, but not everyone's is. You know, you may have an odd living situation, right? I have friends in bands that are killing it, but I remember them telling me like, dude, I'm bumming it on someone's couch right now for like 2 weeks because we're going to go back out, but I don't have money for rent. I stopped paying rent so I can put money in the gas. And I'm like, so you have to be willing to, you got to be willing to do those extremes. And it sucks because like, everyone's like, well, what's the point? Well, the point is like, then when you're killing it on your dream and it all makes sense, then you're going to look back on, man, that was tough, but it was only tough for this much time. And now I'm here. So.
Well, you nailed it with that too. And keep your overhead low.
Always, man.
But
we draw a lot of our own art, you know, like, I try very hard to like DIY a lot of stuff, but it is, as you scale up, that becomes more of a challenge. And like, for example, like we were going to screen our own shirts, and then we turned around and ordered 800 shirts. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I don't care how good I am at screening something. I'm not making 800 shirts.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. But like you said though, too, and I'll make this point as someone who you know, we did the thing around our little local area. We didn't go nowhere near as far as like what you're talking about, but like, I'll say this. Enjoy the experience, whether it ends up with a lifetime career or not, or whether you get, you know, I don't even want to say record deal, because to me that's like 1980s, 90s. That ain't how that shit works, dude. Like whether you end up with 1 million, 2 million Spotify listeners or whatever or not, enjoy the experience, enjoy the time with your friends and the people that you meet along the way, and the art that you create, because when you do that, you can't lose.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's where I'm at with it. I'm just like, I'm at a point in my life where almost my art pays for itself. And considering that like my whole life I've been an artist in some way, shape, or form, that to me is like, hey, that's all I could ask for, is the ability to do my art on my own terms.
And like keep enjoying what you do and keep writing the music you want to.
Exactly.
And like the late Bill Hicks said, it's just a ride. So, you know,
it is just a ride.
Dude, you just hit me with a Bill Hicks quote. He is one of my top 5 comedians of all time. So you nailed it, dude.
So many times in my life, I'll turn to Bill Hicks. Just, you know, for somebody.
If you don't know Bill Hicks, go look him up. He was a damn genius who was taken way too soon. But you're right, it is just a ride, and some people forget that it's a ride and they enjoy the ride too much and they get too wrapped into the ride. Yeah, you get it, dude. That's awesome, man. Listen, Matt's your UK hookup. If y'all want to go that way and book, you're part of the family now because you've been on the show. So anytime you have new music coming up, anytime you drop the EP, please send it to us.
Speaking of, we got a video that should be coming by the end of January. That's gonna be our first single. It's called Diverge Collide. And that's kind of like about the struggle of what it's like being neurodivergent, and you know, a lot of times your brain's fighting itself. So that video is really wild. I'm gonna let James talk about the video because he inspired a lot of it, and he's got good vision for the video.
You guys will see it here. I think you'll see it.
That's what I was gonna say. Either let us debut it.
Absolutely,
When any band that lets us debut their single, we not only debuted on the show, but we also play it on the hour, every hour, right, Matt? On the station.
Not on the hour, but it'll play once an hour.
I should say.
That's really cool.
the day
Yeah.
before release, and then automatically gets added to rotation too.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
There
I
you
see
go.
I see your guys' list, and I'm always jealous because I'm like, I want to get on that list. So
So hook it up. You're part of the family now, having been on the show. So like we say, anything you got, shoot it our way. We'll get it out there. We'll promote
Yeah,
it for
hit me
you.
up and I'll get it.
Yep. Yep.
absolutely.
I love the frame of mind. Y'all definitely have that. I dig the music. I've heard the single on Spotify. I dig what you're doing. Keep it heavy. Keep it unique. That's always great. Where do we send them? Where are you most active on social? Is it Facebook?
Honestly, any of them is fine. We got Facebook, Insta, TikTok, and YouTube. It's at Oceans End Official for all of it. So really easy.
Perfect.
And like I said,
simple.
I try, man. I try real hard. Because I get it. We all got attention spans of a hamster. So as long as I can just point you in the right spot, I did it tonight. I was out with my parents' friends for dinner, and this lady's like, "Well, how do I find your band?" I'm like, "Oh, just look at this QR code. Go ahead and scan that, and bam." So
there you go. That's the world we live in, sir. That is the world we live in. Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, at Oceans End Official, will find us anywhere that you want to be on. And then, like I said, we got merch coming up for sale. So
and drop a link in the comments.
Absolutely. Actually, Anne, if Anne wants to grab I think someone dropped our link tree, but that's where the merch will be. There'll be a big button up top that will pop up and say, "Buy the new merch now." And but we got a lot of fun stuff. We got 5 different prints that'll be available, and then we will also have throughout. I think we're gonna do it quarterly. We'll have some pre-orders drop of like some exclusive runs. I know we're doing a 420 shirt. That'll be fun. And then we have a couple other ones we're gonna drop. Just occasionally, like, hey, one time only. You can pre-order it and get kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
Yeah, we're just honestly, we've been jonesing for this because last year I felt like for us was year 0, just kind of like putting everything in place and really like trying hard to like get the legwork done of like, okay, what are we gonna sound like? How do we work as a good team? Like, how do we work cohesively? And once we kind of figure all that out, now it's like, cool. As soon as this like it's 2023, like it's on like Donkey Kong. So
there you go. There you go. It's gonna be a good year. It's gonna be a damn good year. So here we go. We got some more people hitting you up. So gentlemen, thank y'all for taking your time to jump on here with us tonight. We always love meeting new bands and new music, and we dig what you're doing. So good luck to you.
And I'm so excited. Like I said, we're gonna be in y'all's hood soon. Hopefully Matt Massive is gonna make that happen. So we'll come hang. It'll be fun.
Let us know. Tag us in the shit when you promote the show, and and we'll share it out as well. So thanks for your time, and thanks for doing what you do, man.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Bye.
All right, Matt. That was a damn good show. It really felt good, man.
Yeah, it was good. Got some good insight into Ocean's End, what's going on for them next year, and some good information for some up and comers from Oz. So
what a great band.
This is what happens when you let us loose.
I don't. We could have done a lot of dumb shit tonight, but I feel like we actually looked, or at least pretended like we knew what we were doing.
We tried.
We tried. They turned out to be a great interview, and they've got the philosophy behind it for sure. And Oz, what a fucking cool dude, right?
What a dude, man.
Yeah, way to go. Thanks for nailing that down, man. I said it to you earlier. I think it was before we went live, but it's one step closer for us to take over the UK, right? In addition to the United States. So Lisa, you must have forgot. This is not Kevin. I did not forget to announce that, but I do appreciate you keeping the children straight.
I do have the winner.
Yeah, go ahead. You do it, bro.
So the winner of the grudge match by a landslide is Love to Hate.
Boom. There you go.
There we go.
Their fans showed up tonight and supported, son. I've been looking at the comment section all night, and you're not lying. Like it was their fans.
A complete landslide.
Yes, yes, they were. It's both songs are great, both videos are great, and we always say it. If you make it to the grudge match, it's because we dig the hell out of what you're doing. We've never put a band in the grudge match that we were just like, didn't believe in or didn't like. So
right.
congratulations to both bands. And Love the Hate will be on next week. We'll talk to the chat services and figure out who we want to put them up against, because we're going to try to knock them off.
And don't forget to send us your suggestions for the grudge match. You know, if you want a video featured on the grudge match of a band, hit us up. If we think it's good enough and we like it, we'll put it in.
That's right. Send just a DM on Facebook or actually any of the social media platforms. We're on all of them. Let us know. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, watching, everybody on the replay. We appreciate it as well. Matt, thanks for staying up late, brother. It means a ton to Kevin and I both. The admin part of this, the chat services has been one of my most favorite parts of this, is to just have this community of people that are as crazy about, you know, this shit as I am. So
yeah, definitely, man. Love the station. Love what you guys started and how it's progressing, and we're
and
only
what
getting
we're
bigger.
doing. Yeah, exactly.
It's only getting bigger, trust me. That's all I'm gonna say.
I feel it. I think 20, they were talking, Ocean's End was talking about 23. I think 23 for us is gonna be that next step again.
Keep an eye on the Sound 228 in the next year or two.
That's right. That's right. We've been at it for a while and we're not stopping. So y'all have a wonderful night.
Thanks for all tuning in.
Later.